Hi, welcome to The Widows Speak. We've had a number of podcasts, and they are for you. I hope that you've been listening. We've had a lot of experts, and they've given us some really, really good advice. And in the next few sessions, we're going to have legal, financial, and lots of other kinds of things that I hope you're listening to and getting just a tidbit here or there about what might help you. But very pleased to be here, pleased to be your host. And today, I'm not going to talk too much because we have a really expert podcaster here, somebody that has the top show, the Chain Gang Sports Group. Is that right? The Chain
Gang Sports Show, yes.
Listen to the voice. My goodness, if you can't tell he's a professional from the voice, I can't tell you how thankful I am for you to come on. I mean, first of all, you realize that you're somewhat of a mythical creature, like the white unicorn, that you're willing to come on and talk about real things.
Well, what can be more real
Really?
than dealing with loss and with grief? And if you live any amount of time, chances are you're going to experience it more than
Right.
once. But just one time can be enough for a lifetime.
Yeah.
And the loss, as you speak here, Phyllis, on your show, which is a very fine show and very much needed. In fact, if I had to line up shows in order of need, I would put this right at the top, with sports probably falling somewhere well below it, because sports is entertainment, and we're able to get lighthearted about it, some comedy, and to be informative and entertaining. But things that really affect you, even more so than the win or loss of your team, is the loss of a loved one. And it can be a wife, it can be a husband, in my case, a wife. And even though it's coming up nearly 5 years, this coming June, you would think, well, he's well adjusted and has recovered, and my family as well. But the truth is, I don't know that you ever fully recover.
I don't think so.
You just get by.
I think
you
there's
get
a
through
hole. There's a hole in your heart that just stays there. And I didn't introduce you, Johnny Monte Carlo.
Johnny Monte Carlo on the Chain Gang Sports Show.
I mean, that's
John
really,
Roberts, though, in
right.
everyday life. So I have been revealed on this show.
Yes, you have.
What a great show to be on to do the reveal.
My name's
now.
the same. I can't.
That's it.
I can't say
For the most part, the names change,
the
but
names protect the innocent. I know.
that's it. But
But tell us about what happened.
well.
Tell us about your wife, the love of your life.
Oh yeah, and that's just like with you and your husband, and I read your pamphlet too, and what a very informative 17 pages from what I know of vital information for anyone that's lost anyone, especially a spouse. I've always have said that love is it's a game that it's like playing the lottery. And I don't really play the lottery, but I tell you what, you win big if you find that one person in your life that you can say is not just romantically speaking, but is also your best friend. And your confidant, a sounding
Your
board.
support.
That's it.
Yeah.
And somebody that you can take your troubles to.
Yeah.
There's other people, hopefully in a family, if your parents are still alive, you feel like, but chances are they're not after a certain amount of time. And so you are heavily reliant emotionally on that spouse. That's the person you wake up with in the mornings and you lay your head down next to at night. And when that's missing, a bed is a lonely place. It can feel like a desert. And
you can go into places that have plenty of people, and you're trying to walk in and just be yourself, be normal.
That's right.
Telling yourself, I'm going to be myself, I'm going to be normal, I'm not going to cry, whatever. And you're just lonely. You're just there. You're just all by yourself, or you go somewhere and you do something. I don't know if you find this, and it might be interesting, and you want to come home and maybe you want to talk about it.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh boy.
There's nobody there.
No, there's nobody there.
And it's really hard.
And one of the things I think about too, when you have somebody missing of that magnitude, it's just some of the little things. That, like, if you've got something you think is bothering you on your back, or just a back scratching,
look at this.
yeah, how do you look at it?
Yeah.
So you help one another out. You're relying on the little things, and you just miss the little things as well as the big things.
There's so much trust.
That's
here.
it.
I think the biggest thing is you can be yourself. I mean, like you said, if you're lucky enough to hit the lottery,
Right.
because I don't play either, but at 21, 22, 23, when I got married, like, who knew? I didn't know,
That's right. And
I didn't know. He was good looking. He was, he had a job. Kind of thought I was in college. I kind of thought he was rich. He had a job. He was a teacher.
look at that.
He had a car.
That's a great combination.
Yeah, I mean, look at all of that.
Right.
And I had no clue.
Had everything going for himself, and a great person to be involved in, what not to be attracted to, and was stable, and was a person of good character. And that's really hard to find.
It is.
Attractive people are not hard to find, but somebody that you can enjoy their presence in your life, that adds to your life.
Strong.
Yes. And I can see it.
System.
And if anyone reads this pamphlet, great information, and I like the insight that you give it right up front. Every page, it looks like, to me, involves your story as well.
Yeah, I kind of just, I guess I just, I got so frustrated with a lot of the things that you have to do right after. You're grieving, you're hurt, and you've got to do all of these different administrative paper things that I could have done it, but I didn't do it in our situation. And there were always two of us. And he decided he wanted to do that stuff. So I was like, great, I'll go do something else. That was a partnership. And then you get stuck with everything, and you're like, I don't want to tell this story 900,000 times again, but you do.
And I believe for you, it's so much fresher. October 7th of this past year,
it was
2025.
October 7th. Yep.
And for myself, again, coming up 5 years this June 9th of the summer.
Yeah.
So just to put in perspective, for me, I was able to rely on my wife when she wanted to take the responsibility of doing all the finances. That's kind of out of my character, because I do kind of consider myself as a control freak, because I feel like if anything goes wrong, I only have myself to blame.
Right.
But she took that upon herself. And upon her passing, it throws you into a whole different, because you have, like you say in your pamphlet, you've got to get account numbers, passwords. It's great to have that in advance
ahead of
if
time.
you can.
Papers.
Ahead of time.
Yeah.
That and
Have all
so
the
many
papers.
things.
It's a lot.
But you're so busy living the married life,
Yes.
raising
Yeah,
kids.
trying, and then when they get sick, there's another part of it.
Another part.
So a lot of widows are caregivers, and I think that you experienced that as well.
It was a good 5.5 year battle
That's a long time.
that my wife Tina went through.
That's a long time.
Some severe cancers, like your husband, very painful, and it's very debilitating. And in the case for my wife, when you have cancers that evolve in the digestive tract, you're not able to nourish yourself. And her being of Italian descent, and wanting to, and always cooking.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, people would come to our house.
She was tiny anyway.
Right. Yeah. And she loved to entertain. And that's another thing. It's not just myself. I always put in perspective with our 3 kids.
Yeah.
We have 1 daughter, 2 sons, our daughter being the firstborn. And I always say, as bad as I have felt in nearly 5 years, because you deal with depression, you deal with the loss, no pillow in the bed can replace that person that used to lay down next to you. And as bad as I can find myself feeling, spending probably more cumulative alone time than I ever did in the last 40 years, I'm going to say, I could always go out there and remarry or have but my kids, they can't find another mother. There's only one. There's people you could say, hey, you're like a mother to me.
Sure.
So I always say to myself, don't let yourself get too down, because you've got 3 other people.
That's really good.
That's
really good that you can do that.
That are hurting probably even more. I'm going to say
that really is a plus, I think.
And that's how I've been able to get by.
How you get by.
Yeah.
But just even the little stuff, like the cooking and, the things you used to do. I used to entertain. I used to cook Italian meals, eggplant parmesan, chicken parmesan, whatever. I didn't start out as such a good cook, I have to say. I think there was a time when he said to me, "Are we going to have chopped meat again?" I was like, this is all I know right now. I'm getting there, But I'd love to cook. But part of the reason for the cooking was because he loved to eat it.
Right.
So, I couldn't even get the eggplant out of the pan, without giving it to him, like, because he thought it was like potato chips, basically. He liked it really crispy. But now I literally haven't cooked in 6 months. So, I think I dropped peanut butter on my phone today.
Peanut butter?
Peanut butter and jelly
Doing
is basically
the Harvard lunch?
I'm doing the
I think
peanut
they call
butter
it?
and jelly, or split it with my dog. Orange juice. So do you cook or do you microwave?
That's the thing. I am the king of the microwave oven. I'm
go.
the Guy Fieri of the. Remember those old Amana microwave ovens when they first came out? They
Mine's
would give
as
them on
clean
the
as can
prices,
be.
right?
My oven
Yours
hasn't
is
been
as clean
used.
as can be.
Well, after he passed, I had to move. I moved pretty quickly because it didn't take me long to figure out that I wasn't going to keep this house going on what I was getting. And I'm not crying because we worked hard and we saved and we did the right things. But 7% interest rate for a house. The pool was giving me trouble. The air conditioning. I'm like, I don't know anything about this. And there are a lot of people that do, want to take advantage of you because you have no clue what you're talking about.
Well,
So
absolutely.
I had to get rid of it and move. But so I'm pretty much in a new place, and I haven't used the oven or the microwave is like tea. I haven't even done soup, come to think of it. So it's been pretty meager. You are a statistics guy with sports, right?
Oh yes.
But you kind of fly against everything. You know that when it comes to our world here with the widow and widower.
Right. But
Like we have a bunch of widows,
Oh.
but not so many widowers are out there because, the women tend to outlive.
right.
And then within supposedly statistically 2 years, you should be married by now or whatever.
Right.
The men don't usually like to, whereas the women don't. They pretty much don't think some of them are like, I'm never doing that again.
Statistically, it seems like a lot of women, when they've been divorced, which is another form of great
form of loss, yes.
or their spouse passed away for
Yeah.
however long they were married, don't tend to remarry
That's right.
at all this day and time. And maybe that's just part of, the emotional aspect, or maybe they just figure, hey, one and done kind of thing, possibly.
Yeah.
But for me, and I tell you, there's nothing lonelier to see than a man that's lost his wife. I saw that with my grandfather. I was raised by my grandparents, and it was my grandfather that passed away at age 70. Had never been sick before, developed something that took him out probably within a year's time, and it was very painful. My grandmother, they were always together.
Yes.
They were married for about 50 years,
Yeah, best
very
friends.
similar to, and they were the only love that they had ever known, because back in that time, in the 20s and 30s, you married your high school sweetheart or somebody that you were in elementary school with. In fact, the marriage rate doesn't seem to be what it is now at all.
I can
People
see that
are
with my 2 children, my girls.
Really?
They're not.
and so
been
that's
interested.
the trend.
Yeah.
The birth rate has been down,
Yeah.
according to the Wall Street Journal recently. But for myself, being a man, I felt like compelled to say, hey, if there's an opening to be on this show, I'd like to give it, the perspective from a man.
I appreciate that.
When you're a man and you lose your wife, let me tell you, that's as equal to anything that you're going to experience in life.
If you've had that love, I think
Yes.
true. But so did people counsel you to go to like these grief groups, and did they or did you get attacked? Because I hear that poor men get attacked a lot by people bringing casseroles, and they know you're there, and like I said, you must feel like the mythical creature. Here I am. I don't know. I wonder.
It wasn't so much that, and in fact, it was because it's a small family, very small family, and most of the family that we have is spread out,
Right.
and even friends. And I'm going to say, if it weren't for my kids,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the turnout would be now,
Wow.
4 and 2/3 years later,
Mm-hmm.
for myself. But we've been our own
On
support
your own
group.
support.
Great to go to any psychologist or anybody
Yeah,
that
everybody's
does.
different. You got to
Right.
do what works for you.
And sometimes family can't pull you out of it. A lot of families are dysfunctional. But I will say for the guys out there watching, listening, just like the ladies,
Yeah.
you can be taken. There's a lot of romance scams out there.
Oh gosh,
That
yeah,
can
I
happen
imagine.
even when you're married.
Yeah,
But you have to be very
like
careful.
Facebook stuff.
Right. A
Yeah.
lot of people willing to take advantage of you. And the more affluent you are and your name is out there, oh, who doesn't know you, right? It's like winning the lottery. Now everyone's got a reason to contact you. But I will say this. There is hope and there's a reason to feel like love can come about in your life again. And to even break away from the microwave oven. In fact, I'll probably try to watch my son, my youngest son, Lucas and Brandon, they do very well. They're part of management, first job they ever had.
Good for them.
Out of a high school here at FPC.
And my kids went to FBC.
Really? Yeah, let's hear it for the Bulldogs.
Yep.
But I asked because I said, you guys must have picked up on your Italian heritage, your mom, and paid attention to what she was doing in the kitchen. Because they are remarkable. I call them the chefs. And my youngest son, he said, Dad, I've learned everything about marinating meats from watching YouTube.
Oh.
So everyone go to
They do
YouTube
that.
University.
They do that. They do watch YouTube and figure out how to do things, which is really great, you know. But it's great that your kids are such a support. But so you must stay very busy though. I think you've got a lot of things that you do. Does that really help? Because I find when I'm doing this, at least I'm not, constantly in my head. So I get to talk to other people and that kind of thing. So.
Well, I tell you what, one of the things too is to, and I have to say, read your Bible, and read. It's always good to read it front to back, but there's certain parts of the Bible that will really pull you through as well. Yeah. That's good therapy. But I am an information junkie, so I'm always trying to study up on anything and everything, especially sports. Right. Because I feel like if I get asked something and I don't have the answer, it's like a bad episode of Jeopardy. And so
that's part of your credibility with what you do now.
Right, exactly. It's like a challenge, you know.
Sure.
You're not going to know everything because things are always evolving and people have access to information. And I learned a long time ago when hosting an ESPN morning show, don't ever do trivia. And this was many years back because with the advent of cell phones and computers, people can research. They don't have to. Up, right. They don't have to go through the sports almanac to come up with an answer. Yeah. But I keep myself busy, mainly, just reading and working, and of course with the sports podcast here at Flagler Voice Studios.
Would you say those are like hobbies or more occupation?
Hobbies and a combination of the two. I don't really play golf. I don't play pickleball. And that leaves me out of a lot of the crowds here at Palm Coast, let me tell you. Yeah. Now, I did attempt to play golf in a tournament last Saturday.
I heard about that. I heard it went really well.
Oh, it went well. Aside from my shots, it went really well. And hopefully nobody got injured in the process. I always tried to hit away from anybody that was nearby. But we're still out there looking for the golf balls, put it that way. Divers are teaming up and taking every body of water out there. They're coming
in the shallow water.
Oh, let me tell you.
You didn't see any gators on the course, did you?
I didn't. No,
good.
Not Florida Gators from Gainesville or being from Miami, being a hurricane fan. That would be interesting to see in itself.
And there wouldn't be any dolphins from Miami.
Oh,
so, okay.
Well,
we won't go there.
No.
So you got your kids, and that really keeps you grounded. Yeah. And you've mentioned the Bible, and I've got to read the Bible. I know I need to do that, but I'm trying to go back to church, and do that, pay attention. But I also watch. I know my kids think I'm crazy because they come in the house and I've got like the Christian TV on or the preachers. But I'll tell you what,
TBN.
When you're in this stuff, that's the kind of stuff that helps you. Like when you hear somebody say to you that, this was a big blow, you got you got knocked down, but there's a reason, or, God knows the good things that he has in store for you. But honestly, it is hard. It's hard to keep that focus, even though that's the word, and, God is not a man that he could lie. So, you try to keep those things going in your head, those verses. But honestly, for me, it's the time element. It's the being in the house and, just not being able to talk to anybody. It becomes extremely quiet. And it's not like we were having parties, it's just that you knew there was that other person in the house with you.
Right.
And, you could talk if you wanted to. He would watch TV. I would go do something else because I like to be outside. But knowing that, it wasn't going to be still like that all the time.
Certainly.
And I don't know, did you have to move or anything? Did you stay where you were?
In the same residence that we were when Tina passed away.
Okay.
But I got to say, in that time now, in the last 4 years, I got to just my daughter has given birth just a couple of weeks ago to her third. She said, "Dad, this is going to be it. Going to have the tubes removed. Don't tie them, burn them.
She's going
remove
away.
Make it
Yeah.
final."
Yeah.
And she's 3 kids. What a blessing! Because much respect to you ladies who give birth. Because if it were left up to us guys. And they said, "Hey, something's going to be growing inside you for about 9 months," and that's a scary prospect.
Process.
The birth rate would certainly go
process.
down. But she just gave birth to her second son, and now 3 kids. In fact, in the same order,
great.
Tina and I had a daughter first, and then 2 sons.
Nice.
Seems to be the pattern.
Nice.
So I would suspect, God willing, that'll keep me busy as well.
Oh yeah.
And who knows? Maybe among the 3, there'll be a
Grandchildren.
broadcaster develop out of there.
I would think you got a good shot.
Well,
I mean, that's for sure.
Hopefully so, but if not, that's fine too. But I got to say, though, it is a pleasure being on this podcast.
Thank you.
Being able to have the chance, because
Appreciate that.
I really haven't talked to too many people outside of family about it. And it's not always good to keep things in.
No, it's not.
And it's good, and that's what I would recommend as well. Whoever knew you, your husband, and like in the case, Tina and I, it's good to get with those people that have good memories with your spouse and to reflect. Because, I like to, my wife always said to me, Johnny, if you go first, I'm going to have you cremated and put your ashes on. And I said, oh, yeah, that's just great. You're going to hear a swirl in the urn because you and your new husband are going to be making whoopee, and I'm going to be, But she said, Johnny, I'm always going to haunt you if I go. And I said, if you do, it'll be in a good way. And I think she does. And I'll never forget when I don't like The Fly. I don't know if you do.
The Fly movie?
Oh, no, if you like flying.
Oh, flying.
Yeah, flying.
I was going to say the Fly movie. Yeah, no, I didn't like that. I like flying. Yes, I did.
You like flying?
I've been in small planes before. I mean, I've not been a pilot or anything like that, but
she liked flying.
I would like it. Yeah.
It didn't bother her. And she was even able, at some point in her life before I met her, jump out of an airplane, skydive.
Oh, wow.
And she was a scuba diver.
She had guts.
Oh, she was an adventurer.
Adventure.
Let me tell you, she, as I say in describing her, she traveled the depths of the earth and the heights above. For myself, I don't even drive near an airport that offers skydiving. I go around it like it's a Skyway bridge, let me tell you.
I don't know if I would do that anymore, maybe when I was younger. But I don't have any hobbies. I worked, so my life was working, so my parents were really hard workers. And my dad dropped out of elementary school. I think he was in 5th grade. And
really, 5th
he just
grade?
didn't show up for the 5th grade ceremony. Like, I guess his grandparents realized that he wasn't going to go anywhere. But he just worked. He worked as a laborer all his life. He worked really hard to support us. And lucky then, if you were strong enough, if you had some brain with you, you could make it. Today, not to have even get through elementary school, that would have been pretty much unheard of, But he was a hard worker, so they trained me to do that. And I think I started working by the time I was, when you're 12, you do the babysitting. By the time you're 15, you're out doing something else. And that's all I did. So then I became, did my career and became a superintendent, but I never paid attention to other parts of you that need to be developed. Like, do you want to play golf? Do you want to play tennis? Do you want to, go take a trip or something? And then with my husband, he was sick quite a bit. It started probably halfway through our marriage. So, my other job was pretty much just being there and taking care of him. So then you get to this place where you're like, okay, I really don't know who I am.
Right.
I know who I was at 21. I knew what I'd like to do at 21, but that's not the way it is now.
So now a little reinvention.
You almost have to reinvent yourself, and I'm not clear yet on how to do that, but I don't know. I think sometimes too you get mired in the memories. Like for me, at the end, I said a lot because I knew that he was listening. I knew that the listening is the last thing to go. And I kind of went into this mode where I just, kind of kept talking. But he had said hospice, even though he was in the hospital. And I couldn't get him hospice right away, but I got the nurses I said, you give him whatever they would give in hospice. And they gave him morphine. And that was it. He never said another word.
Yeah.
And that not being able to say really a good goodbye, if you will. And
I could sympathize with you because my wife, same thing, same hospice facility, and it was fentanyl. The fentanyl patches basically put into a coma. And I won't get into the controversial aspect of that, but I thought that my kids and I, and even my father-in-law, who's still alive at age 90 and coming up in June 91, and that's another type of grief right there, losing a child.
All my parents did biggest, too. They lost my brother.
All right, there you go. And but just to say, there was an injustice there because we did request, could she be brought out so we could say goodbye? And even more important, for her to be able to say goodbye.
Yes.
Because I don't know that you really can.
Just no closure. No closure. Even though you may have talked about it, you may have joked about it. We joked about it. If you go first, you keep your foot in the gate. But, when I come up, let me in. Kind of thing. But no, not being able to do that.
Right. And she was in a lot of pain. We understand that. But we were kind of made to feel guilty. And that was not a good thing. And it's just really added insult to the major
to the whole thing.
But that's a whole nother aspect.
It is. And it's happened to a lot of people.
And how you say goodbye.
Yeah.
And as Michael Jackson sang,
closure.
Never can say goodbye. Or was that Diana Ross as well? There's probably been a lot of people that
Michael Jackson
sang that song. And just one final note, if I might.
Please.
According to the IRS, after I believe 3 years, you're no longer regarded as a widower. You're regarded as single now when you file. And I was just going to say, and perhaps for another episode, when is it the appropriate time in your mind to maybe look for love again? And is it different for a woman? Is it different for a man?
Well, I don't know. I can only think about those statistics, but I just think it's personal for every single person.
I will say
I mean, it's all about what you got going on and that kind of thing. I wouldn't even deem to say, right?
I will say this. You won't know until it possibly happens. And then, it's like the first time around when you met your husband. Yeah. You weren't necessarily looking for love. I wasn't even looking. That's it. It just happens. And that's why I say it's like winning the lottery.
I had a boyfriend.
Yeah, there you go.
I was like, well, why is this guy walking by this room so much? Does he not do anything? Well, I want to thank you again for being very, very brave and very open and honest and coming on, because I think women need to hear what it is like for you, and it's not different.
Well,
the gut still hurts, the heart.
We're in this thing together.
Pain.
It's a two-way street for sure.
Well, everybody, see, we're not alone. I need to close this out, and I hope you will still continue to follow. And if you feel adventurous, goodness, watch the podcast, watch the Chain Gang Punk podcast, the sports. I did. It was very upbeat, very, very energetic. I have to say I don't know a lot of what they were talking about, but I could learn. I just want to say that again, remember that you're not alone with this loss and heavy grief, but everybody's got to do this on their own, but you've got to take the step to get out and do something, to get out and, like we're talking, just maybe you need to do a little tiny thing to reinvent yourself. But remember, there is beauty for ashes, and God is close to the brokenhearted, and we just have to hold on to that. Until next time, Phyllis Edwards. Thank you.